we also have to understand that they may not even have the manpower now to execute some of the content creation.
Yeah.
And if I'm based on a property whereby, I have a, I don't know, oasis of outdoor nature or something like this, very much so we can be part of that, for example, CSR component or some element that could be quite different when it comes to the mindfulness or any activities that we try to execute for the ease of the attendees.
Yes. So you hit the nail on the head again. Sales is really, to me, when you break it down, to get a sales advantage, you need to bring your value forward, as I said before, to solve the customer's problem. So as you said, CSR, if you had that garden, you don't show off the garden, you show them by, sometimes in COVID you can't bring people in, but you have to make them feel physically in their body, emotionally feel what it would be like to have their delegates doing this thing in the garden. How would their delegates feel in the garden? So to be a good salesperson, you need to create what I call the compelling vision. I mean, I'm a salesperson till the cows come home, right? But I fall for salespeople all the time because I love this idea of the compelling vision. If someone comes to me and says, imagine what you could create in this dress or home or holiday, I'm all in because they've made me feel something. So it's not about showing as in getting out my flip book and flipping the pages. It's about telling the story of what it would feel like if your VIPs were feeling in nature, what it would feel like if your problems were solved, and share this vision that they buy into. That's how, to sell, you've got to build trust and desire. Trust is talking about them. That's when you'll build trust. And desire is buying into this compelling vision that you can see, but they can't see yet. And your job as a salesperson is to be able to see it, be able to solve their problems with that vision, and then get them so bought into it that competitors with cheaper prices don't even rate. Because once you put a cheap price out there, you're a commodity. Yeah. The opposite to that, the antidote to cheap pricing, is enormous value. People have the money, even though it's less than before, they have the money to spend, but they want the results and they get bamboozled by cheaper prices. But if you stick to your value and you put forward that compelling vision that gets them the results they need, a million problems are solved by that. They look good, their sales go up, they get more leads, attendance increases, they get talked about, they get shared on social media. People will always share a feeling. That's why social media things go viral. It's about the feeling. So bring that compelling vision to your customer, solve their problems with your value, and you'll be in good stead for 2021.
Absolutely love that. Now, I earlier we talked a little bit about how 2021 is going to be a little bit of a puzzling journey where, obviously we have, whether it's job support in Australia or GSS in Singapore, we know that the government support is coming to an end and is relatively scary, where some parts of the world are still dealing with the second or third wave of the COVID-19 spread.
Yes.
So no matter how empowered a salesperson is, there will be moments where we feel the lack of confidence and the job satisfaction. So how can we continue to keep ourselves motivated so that we feel that we can achieve some form of job satisfaction?
Yeah. So what I've done my whole life is I focus on the future, but I bring it to life in the now. And that's a hard concept to get, right? And it's not easy to do when life around you is very scary. But I think, I get scared. I lost my job in COVID. I was one of the first people to lose their job. So this year for me is about doing everything but what I was born to do. But I've got this strategy where I go back and I look at my life and I say, have I ever not had something come next? Has there ever not been something amazing come next, either out of the blue or just something amazing happens? It's never ever been the case that I've never, when you lose a sale, something always comes next. There's always something. It might take a while. Something always comes next. So I focus on, every morning I get up and I meditate for 20 minutes and I bring to life that vision in my mind. And I focus on that something is coming. I don't know where it's coming from, but if I keep doing in the moment every day, if I keep doing what I know works, which is talking to customers, bringing out my value, creating compelling visions, if I do that in the moment, expecting that something is going to change and something is going to come my way, our way, it always does. And I challenge you. I mean, there are days where I get scared as well. I have to say that. But I then focus on, what can I bring to the table? If I bring 120% value, and that's why I named my business 120%, because if I can bring more value than the next person, then what comes along, I will win. And that's how I do it. And I think I put a post up about that the other day as well, that, you know, if you can get that vision so clearly in your mind, just like you do when you sell, you get that compelling vision in your customer's mind. If you can hold on to that vision, stay calm by meditating, and bring that vision to life, expecting the good things to come. I know it sounds cheesy, expecting good things to come, but keep doing what works. Talking to customers, creating value, seeing opportunities, bringing opportunities to your customers, then that is something that keeps me steady and motivated as hell. Not even motivated, actually inspired. When I talk to my colleagues and clients, as I said before, I find out something different every single time, and then I can build on that the next time. And I become the fountain of knowledge. So every time I call a client, no matter what they're doing, they take my call. And that's because they know every time I call, I bring value. It's not going to be, hi, do you have any events for us? It's going to be, hi, do you know what's happening? Did you hear what happened yesterday? This is what my colleague is doing. This is what we're all doing. This is how it's all working. And I am working towards that brighter future. So I hope that helps people out there, but it helps me. I think you can tell. Yeah. It helps me stay inspired and alive. And, you know, it's a hard journey ahead. And sometimes I get very scared when I hang up the phone from people as well. But it will change. We have to hang on and, you know, pivot. I hate that word, but pivot if we have to. Be flexible is my word for 2021. Everyone's doing something today that they never thought they'd ever be doing. So
you're exactly right. And I love that beaming moment that you share, right? Sometimes you get scared, you just focus on the now. Yes, you have to, it's a parallel journey that we go through, the future and now. Yeah. You know, and baby steps. And I think one of the things that I realized COVID really taught us is to celebrate the smaller things. You know, you and I both were in leadership positions in the past, with bigger corporations, and we were so focused on the big numbers. Yes. That sometimes we forget that, you know, the small wins are also very, very important to some team members.
You are so right. Again, so right.
Yeah. So I think what I've learned personally is to really celebrate those small moments. And what I absolutely love about what you said earlier is that care factor to your customers. It's not about, you know, take less, give more. It is really about that. It is about, hey, I heard this. What do you think? And we feel that this and stuff like that. Because people really value validated information, not gossip. But, you know, when you share a validated information with a customer that could possibly help them with as part of their planning or strategy, then that's where the value really, really kicks in.
Yes. And, you know, it's about, I think, you know, one of the biggest things COVID taught everybody was, number one, we're all the same. And number two, we're all in this together. So what that led to was a whole lot more vulnerability. Like you're seeing inside my living room like right now, and I'm seeing inside yours. I don't have kids that are going to interrupt, but you know, we all saw inside each other's living rooms. We saw people in tears and we saw people celebrating, and we got the truth. And we full circle back to how you started. The truth is so important. So if you also rock up to a customer with some truth, that's an invitation for them to share truth with you. So if you rock up and say it's all okay, we're all good, then they won't be as open with you. But if you're open and you're prepared to share, well, yeah, it's tough and we're trying to innovate and let me have this discussion with you. I'm not bringing you any answers, but I'm bringing you a direction. What do you think about this? Would that work for you? If not, why not? And, you know, that's when the magic happens, when you're both human beings connecting in that same moment. You're open and you're vulnerable and you're bringing value by suggesting something new. Everybody loves that. And the human moments are what people remember. If you can make them feel something, that's when they'll remember you, and price will go out the window.
Fantastic. I'd like to end our conversation with this question. You know, at your moments of fear, what do you do to make yourself beam again?
Well, I think it was summarised extraordinarily well by Amanda Gorman, who was 22 years old, and she read the poem at the inauguration this morning. And I woke up and had a bit of a tear, actually, because at 22, she stood up and addressed the world and said, there will always be light if we're brave enough to find it. Wow. And I think, you know, it's all there. It might be hiding at the moment, but it is there. And we have to dig deep, stick together, I think is the biggest thing. Be flexible and bring the value.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think for the longest time, people have been focusing about conversation around positivity versus negativity. And I think it's so hard to pick people or get them to choose how to feel, but instead I think it's so important for our world to think about possibilities.
Yes.
And I think when it's about about possibilities, it's really not about that feeling of positive or negative, because we all have internal, external factors that affect the way we feel and think at a particular moment in time. But I think possibility doesn't give you that, 100% guarantee that something will work or may not work.
Yeah,
it is very mind opening, and it allows us to sort of like take a step at a time towards the possibility of light or whatever else that we are moving towards.
Well said.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you more. I'm sure we're going to have more episodes coming our way, but let's see what our community says in terms of topics that they want, and I'm sure it'll happen to you again.
Wonderful. So great to spend some time with you.